Welcome to Higher Ground, the podcast focused on the why behind what's happening in the K-12 leadership job market, with your hosts Christina Greenberg from Agility Search, and I'm Josh Czupryk from Josh's K-12 Jobs Blast. Now, here's the pod. Hey y'all, welcome to a special one-off edition of Higher Ground. And I'm excited because this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. But we have Dr. Brandi Chin from the Opportunity Trust with a new book that is coming out on Wednesday, January 14th, called Hope is Not a Strategy, about keeping your great teachers. Dr. Chin, welcome to the pod.
Excited to be here, Josh. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We've been really trying to focus the second part of this season on solutions. We really established the problem statement that teachers and leaders are tired and they're leaving the profession. This Wednesday, we're going to have a Teach for America podcast about how they are working to get excitement back into the sector with their 35th anniversary summit. And what I loved about your book when I saw it was I beat the drum about teacher retention and why it matters and having the conversation. And I keep telling people to go watch the Brene Brown special on Netflix. And I'm like, it's sort of applicable to K-12. But I feel like you've taken that and been like clear as kind and you've put it into a book form.
Yes.
So what is the origin? What made you want to write this?
I have spent the last 20 years or so studying what great schools do to accomplish great things for kids. And one of the things that I notice is that they have some of the highest retention rates. The best schools in the country with the best leaders have the highest retention rates, no matter the culture or the environment. So I'm talking pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and post-pandemic. And so what is it that they're doing differently to retain their teachers? What are they doing around their adult culture that's causing folks to stay and to send more teachers to their schools and networks? So I've studied that over the years, and I've also seen, particularly in my work at the Opportunity Trust, some schools that are struggling, right? And the schools that are struggling to get academic outcomes for kids are also struggling with staff retention. People want to work at a place where you're doing great things for kids, and so, started to look at some of the nuances of what was going on with that. So that's the impetus for the book. And it really applies to everything, whether you're rolling out a new curriculum, which a lot of us have been doing lately, or you're trying to increase whatever the initiative is, you want to see it across all your classrooms and you want it to impact all your kids. And so what I've been noticing is that people have been kind of taking a step back and almost leading through fear around not wanting to like put too much on teachers or not wanting to hold teacher accountable to like basic expectations because they fear they're going to lose their teachers. And what they're actually doing is destroying the culture. And then teachers are leaving anyway. Right.
Mhm.
And so is this idea that folks don't want to be held accountable. Folks don't want to do the work when actually they do want to do the work. They want to do great work for kids. And it's our responsibility as leaders to create a culture and an environment where teachers can thrive, because when teachers are thriving, kids are going to be thriving.
So, January, new year, new you. I'm a school leader. I'm listening to this. I'm a system leader. I'm listening to this. First, I'm going to read your book. But what are the 2 to 3 things I can do in January based upon your findings that can help me keep my A players here on the team?
Absolutely. I would say in terms of it's both keeping your A players and attracting A players, like
Mm.
attracting talent. So in terms of keeping your A players, one of the things that we talk about is bringing people into the work and doing with folks and not doing to folks. So making your planning, bringing your veteran teachers and your best teachers into your planning process for next year. Right. People buy into what they help build. And so bring them along, give them a role to help execute and roll out the things that are happening for next year. If you're doing a new curriculum, don't say, here's what you need to do. Say, hey, come alongside me to learn this with me so we can implement this together. We can work out the kinks. That's how you keep people engaged and not frustrated by a new initiative or burnt out by new initiatives. In fact, I often didn't roll out initiatives. I just said, hey, this is the work. We're going to roll up our sleeves and do it together. So I think the best thing you can do to keep your A players is to involve them in the work. They want to do the work and they want to do it alongside you and they want to see everybody succeed. In terms of attracting new talent for the new year, what I would recommend people do is to have a plan, right? There are 3 plans that you want to have as we head into hiring season. The first one everybody has, right? It's the traditional recruitment plan. Like we all know, we all love it, we all participate in it. But the other 2 I rarely see. And I do see them at the top performing schools. The second one is an onboarding plan, right? And a lot of people think that an onboarding plan starts in the fall when school starts. It does not. It starts the moment that they sign that offer letter. What happens? Who reaches out? Who are they? How are they connected to your team? And how are you keeping them engaged for the several months before school starts, right? So having an actual plan in writing that you've created with your team, with your best teachers on how you're going to keep them on fire for the work that you're going to do, how you're going to keep them engaged and excited about the work and connected to the work even before they start. So that's number one, going to be a game changer, onboarding plan. The second one is a staff retention plan. It's an actual plan. And so right now, if you cannot email me these three plans, the staff recruitment plan, the staff onboarding plan, and the staff retention plan, we got some work to do, right? And so the staff retention plan is about creating adult culture. What do you want your adult culture to look like, feel like, and sound like every day? And that's how you create an amazing place where people want to come to work, no matter the season, no matter the politics, no matter the budget, no matter what's happening, whatever the crises are on the outside, they want to be inside your building because you created an amazing culture. You need a plan to do that. How might I go about doing that? Well, the way that I did it is I went and found some of the best schools that had the highest retention in the country. And I said, what do you do to keep your teachers engaged and thriving and involved? And I took notes and I started to craft a plan around what we were going to do on a weekly, on a monthly basis, how we're going to celebrate our teachers, how we're going to honor them, how we're going to develop them and support them. All that is in a staff retention plan. And here's the key. We differentiated that plan because what a brand new teacher needs that's never taught before, that doesn't know where to stand in a classroom, right? Versus somebody who has more experience, they need a different thing. So you want to make sure you differentiate. So within your staff retention plan, which includes how you're going to develop your teachers, you want to have a specific plan for what you're going to do to support your new teachers for a long period of time to ensure their success. Right. One of the things that we see is our new teachers are leaving. They're frustrated because they're not support. They don't know what to do. And you got to roll up your sleeves and go alongside them. And they need a lot more support than somebody who's been doing this for 5 or 10 years. So those are the things that I would say as we start the new year in terms of keeping your best players and then attracting the best players on your team.
One thing that kind of rose to my thought that, again, I beat the drum on a lot is this idea that, yes, of course, a school leader is in a supervisory role of faculty, but I really hear you talking about elevating the role of teacher to faculty because when you diminish the role, you lose people. What do
Yes.
you have to say to somebody, let's say, and I'm literally just saying things that have been out there, right? School
Mhm.
leaders, this leaders, like, no, they're just teachers.
Oh my gosh. They are everything. They are your culture carriers. Because let's be clear, as a principal, we don't teach a single student in that school. We're not interacting with hundreds of parents every day. It is your teachers are the culture carriers. They are everything to the bottom line. And so that is where you want to I spent most of my 80% of my time developing my leaders so that they could develop my teachers and then developing the teachers that were on my caseload. I spent so much time investing in them. I spent so much time making sure I got that team right, and it pays dividends. It pays dividends. So when whatever comes, like there are going to be crises, there are going to be budget cuts, there's going to be X, Y, and Z, whatever the next pandemic is. But when you have a strong team of teachers who are bought into the vision, they will literally do anything for kids, period. And so if you care about kids, then you must care about teachers and you must invest in your teachers first and foremost.
Well, I want to say thank you for coming on. Again, Wednesday, January 14th, Hope is Not a Strategy by Dr. Brandi Chin. And we'll have a link on the show notes. It'll also be on my LinkedIn. So really appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you.